Hi, good morning, or whatever time it is when you're getting this. My name is Dr. Cheryl Meyer, and I bring resources to you. I help you navigate through your spiritual awakening, and all of life is a spiritual awakening, and you are worth this. Let's go to a different tree today. All right, so the word I was getting, the word on the street is you're not starving, you're fasting. All right, that's what we're going to talk about today. This came to me a couple days ago, I think, and I just now am like, oh, I can't wait till I get to teach this, because it's been so enlightening and illuminating for me, right? I was just crying. I was in such joy once I understood this concept, right? Oof, so welcome. I slid down the street. All right, so first, just be present, because presence cures everything. Eckhart Tolle talks about it, and he calls it the Buddha nature or the Christ presence. But if you imagine Christ as this enlightened person, he was always deeply present. You see, when he interacted with people, he wasn't reacting. He wasn't ever just responding to what was in the environment. Even when he turned over the tables in the temple, it says he made a cord of whips. How long do you think that is? Because there's all these animals that he had to drive out, and he's in the lineage of King David, you see? So it's like he's part of that lineage. King David, if he was alive at the time, had every right to go, you have made this into a shopping mall, taking advantage of people, just stealing from them in the name of religion, And so it's like he had every right legally and in his bloodline to be the hero in that circumstance. But even that, we look at it with our eyes and go, oh, he was just acting in anger. But no, it says he took the time to braid a rope of cords. Like he made the whip that drove out the animals and turned over the tables of people. It's just like, if you were there and you saw someone robbing someone and you protected like that 80-year-old woman at that moment, of course you're going to do that. You know what I mean? So let's just be present. There's the tree that I normally go to. Be with yourself. You're worth being with. Whoever showed you that or taught you that before. Like, you can let them go. They didn't have the perfect parent manual, and they didn't know what it was like to be with themselves. Oh, I'm sitting in a bunch of mud. All right. Oh, I'm sitting on the sunny side, though. That's the wet side. So maybe, anyway, I'm not going to worry about that right now. So what does it mean? So when you notice, see, it's like the world will tell you you're starving. Why aren't you taking this and that and this and that? And so, but then I'm like, wait a second, I'm not starving. I'm fasting. You're fasting. If you choose to, I met the sweetest guys, and they were just like, we're doing all this work and we're doing this and we're focused, and I don't have a girlfriend, And I met another guy on social media that was talking to me about this. And I'm like, you don't need, like, 12 girlfriends wouldn't satisfy you. 12 unaware girlfriends that don't know about presence, not that you need that many, like, are worth nothing compared to knowing this deep presence inside yourself. And how do you get this deep presence inside yourself except by fasting? And I'm not saying by isolating yourself. I'm not saying by depriving yourself of living passionately. I live passionately. I enjoy what I eat. I enjoy skating. I enjoy life and being with people. And it just, everything is so beautiful and alive to me. and I enjoy working and all those things. But it's kind of like, in the moment, let's say, this is the thing that was coming to me, was so that's what I said to the guy on, I won't say on what social media, but I was like, get in touch with that. Like, get in touch with this knowing, this deep presence that you have inside, with this love that you have access to. It's just like, when we're in relationships, this is what I was getting last night. I'll go to that because that's beautiful. When we're in relationships, at the beginning, you know, you meet this person, they're new, you don't know all their faults and stuff yet. You have the oxytocin released in your body, so you're both on drugs, this oxytocin, and you just feel so much love for that person. And it's not just the oxytocin, but your heart expands, your heart opens up, and you have, it's like God is love, so the divine love flows through you to that person, and you're not thinking about yourself, you're just thinking about the love, and you're not even thinking at all, you're just being present, and you're loving life, and everything looks possible, and nothing seems impossible. And I was reading this book by Michael Singer called The Untethered Soul. I was listening to it on an audible form, and it was like, you always have access to this enthusiasm, to this energy. He talked about some guy who's in his 20s who went through a breakup, you know, and it's just like so depressed and sitting there, and like there's pizza all around him, so he knows he's been eating, but you know, he doesn't remember doing that. And then suddenly the girlfriend that broke up with him 3 weeks later calls and like, I'm so sorry, I love you, you're the best person ever, blah blah blah. And suddenly in that moment he has all this energy, and he's not in lethargy, you know. And he it's like, where did that energy come from? It didn't come from sleep, because he wasn't sleeping well. It didn't come from food. It came from, you know, he had closed off his heart, and then he opened up his heart again, you know. And so it's like, who says we have to have a girlfriend call or a boyfriend call or whatever? Someone call, or I was thinking last night to lace up my skates to give me permission to be in that joy. Like, when I'm in my skates, I'm in that joy, because I just stop worrying about everything, and I'm there to skate. Or else you fall on your ass, and sorry if there's kids around, but you fall down, you know. You learn balance, you learn deep presence, and as you keep challenging yourself to more a higher skill level, it's just like in life, you can learn this in your job, you know, you can learn this in everything you do. But that's one thing, is choose to open your heart up, and then it's not blocked up, and you have all this love flowing you to other people. But the other thing I was thinking of is, like, you know, with my kid, it's like it's easy to try to win the argument in the moment, right? And then you feel self-satisfied, but you just like crushed a little child because you had to win, you know. And I don't recommend this at all. This is like how kids are like mirrors, and they teach you how to be balanced in your life. If you have this, and relationships, you know, marriages and stuff are a mirror to you, and they teach you because you want so much to love that person. And so when you choose to fast, you're not starving. It feels like childhood, when you were starved of affection and you were starved of what you really wanted. And so our brain gets it mixed up, and we're like, oh, I'm not going to starve. They were always starving me of all these things. I'm going to just take whatever I want. Well, that ends up making you starved, because if I just kept taking whatever I want and I didn't have discipline, then, you know, I wouldn't make a living, and I wouldn't say no to myself, to be like, you don't have to win this argument. Don't be reactive when that other person's in a heightened state. Just be really present and be love, and open your heart up to love. And then it feels in the moment like you're starving, and so it can trigger you and bring up this old feeling from childhood that is saying, I'm in lack. I'm going to be missing something. And so we don't like that. That's an uncomfortable feeling. But it's like, sorry, I was thinking of the time that I have. I'm trying to figure out how much time I have left to convey all of this, but because I want to make it quick for you guys, and I always also have a meeting. So anyway, I'm back present is when you get triggered and you have this feeling like from childhood that says, well, I'm going to be in lack again, and I want to avoid that feeling. It's just kind of like, I just saw Christ on the cross, and it's like he had to die to get to the resurrection. You have to participate in the death. You have to participate in the death of something in order to get to the resurrection. It's like I don't want to tell. Okay, Kobe Bryant used to come around here for a certain reason. I won't say why. And so that car just reminded me that Kobe Bryant used to be here. It's like Kobe had to die to his fleshly desires to not practice in order to be good at basketball. He had to work so hard practicing in private what he got rewarded for in public. And so it's like, I have to die in that moment where it seems like, but I'd rather just win this argument and feel good in this moment. But it's like, but then it deteriorates the relationship I have with me and my child, you know? I get a short-term high, but long-term it's painful and it's worse, all right? Versus the word for temperance is the word temperance. The having temperance in yourself is to delay the immediate gratification for the greater good that's more remote. That's further out. That's the definition of temperance. But in order for that to happen, something has to die. And if you noticed or not, we don't like dying. We don't like dying. And so there's something like, I was at this business mastery class, and I learned all of these things about business, and I learned about what some other people can do for business. And it's like, you know, and I don't want to make any excuses for not building a business in a responsible and beautiful way, you know, but there are things that I could do, and I don't want to use that as an excuse, but there are things that I could do to make my business flourish that I'm not willing to do. And it's like that I don't have the same amount of money as some other people that are willing to do those things. It's okay. That's where I saw it. I was like, no, I'm fasting. I'm not starving. I'm not starving from the $1 billion I could have right now. I'm fasting from getting it in a way that I am not called to go that direction. And you don't ever want to hide behind religion. I don't recommend that. But there has to be a death in order for there to be a life. I have to fast from, I could have Mr. Right Now any day I wanted, but I don't go for Mr. Right Now because I choose to keep, being aware of being Mrs. Right. So Mr. Right, I'll recognize him, you see? And this is the same for you, is you're not starving, you're fasting. When you're choosing to be disciplined, when you're choosing to walk in love, when you're choosing to walk in integrity, when you're choosing to die to something that your flesh wants in the immediate, that will give you instant gratification. The more you keep doing that, the more you get used to doing that, the more you develop the muscle not to do that. And, it becomes sort of harder for you to fast because you're not used to developing that muscle of fasting. So there's so much more that I want to say, but this is all for now. And I haven't decided yet if I'm going to just keep this stuff on YouTube only, possibly, because I don't know that I want to make this instant for everybody everywhere. I want only the people that want to look for these deeper teachings to find them, because it's not meant for everybody. I wish you so much love. Much love.